Yeah. So a very good afternoon to all the innovators, all the patent enthusiasts of India. This is Dr. Prachi Pandey, and I'm an expert in patent laws and also trademark laws. And beside that, I also look after startups and entrepreneurship. So today we will discuss about international patent filing, strategies, procedures, and how we can leverage the full opportunities of international patent filing, as well as we can utilize it for commercialization of our invention, licensing, and not at national but also at international level. So, India, I can say it's a country of innovators. We have lots of innovations going on, and since 2016, from the launch of National Startup Policy, we have more than 100 unicorns. 48% of startups have at least one woman co-founder. We can say that startups are running the economy of the India. Job creation, revenue generation in every step, there is a kind of more and more contribution from the innovators of India. So why not to leverage the filing at international level, and how we can take the full advantage so that our product must not be at national but we can capture the international market. Thing is that whenever we make something and make in India, that is important. But whenever we sell it in all across the world, we generate not only revenue, we are actually leading in a very competitive market, and at a global level, we can have our mark of India as well as the mark of our own as an innovation. So the question comes, why to take our patents global? So global patents means first of all, we enhance the competitive advantage. We are today in a very competitive world. In India, we are have lot of competitions, but today's era where the world is connected through internet, through all kind of devices, we can say that innovation doesn't become territorial, it becomes in the knowledge of all of the world. So there are chances that patent may be replicated, maybe like somebody is selling the same kind of innovation in some other part of the world, and we are losing some kind of market. So whenever we have to secure the international market share, because growing is must for any innovator. If we grow, we shouldn't grow at national, but we should grow at all international levels so that the mark of India, Indian innovators should have all across the world. So global patents, they protect the innovations and strengthen a company's position in international market. We should have our own substantial growth, not only domestic but beyond domestic market. So this is a point where we can think of going global, but always innovators are a little bit scared about how to take our innovation at global scale, how to read the market, how to find out the legal boundaries, and we are must more about thinking what would be the benefit. First of all, we can see what would be the financial benefit. So suppose if I am making some innovation in India and selling it, I will have a limited revenue. Also, if somebody is making the same kind of innovation, means like little bit advanced or little bit similar in other parts of the world, uh, it might be the situation that we may not generate so much of revenue, and if we wish to market it worldwide, it may not be possible later, because another company have the monopoly in other country, and if we sell our product in any other country where there is already a patent of that product, they can sue us for infringement. So to avoid such kind of legal issues, it's good to go through global. What would be the financial benefit? Suppose if we have a patent in India, we have a firm in India, and we are producing in India. And yes, in India, that working of patent criteria is there, that we should produce in good quantity to make it affordable to the public of India at a very affordable price. So if we are reaching those criteria and filling the form 27 and can establish the working of patent statement, then patent office can allow us to go more and more. Otherwise, they can say us to give a license, compulsory license. So it's important that at least we can produce in one country. In another country, also such kind of boundaries are there. So, how to generate revenue if we do not have so much funds to establish the firm in different companies at present? Suppose if I do not have so much of investment, so in that case, the another part is the licensing and royalties. So, if we have an innovation that is patented in some other country and we are not like in a position to produce in that country, so at least we can assign to some other company and take the royalty. So that is a kind of licensing. We are giving license to some company so that they can make the innovation, use the innovation, and sell the innovation. So we can generate some royalties in return. And in that way, we can monetize our innovation in that particular country also to generate a very steady income. Suppose after generating lots of revenue, we are in a position to establish a firm and make our company a multinational company. So in that case, we can also establish a firm because licensing terms are for a certain period. Suppose for 2 years, 3 years in the agreement, because in every patent office, whenever they like go for a licensing agreement, we have to sign a proper agreement with the another party that this licensing will be a period of 2 months, 3 months, and then inform to the patent office about that licensing. So then only the other company can manufacture and sell. So in that way, we can drive revenues and can have lots of financial benefits. So this is the way actually I prescribe that even if we are a very innovator, not have a very big company, we are a startup company, we are an individual innovator, but still there is a chance that we can generate revenue through licensing in other country. And also it's important because suppose if you are selling in some other country and without patent or without licensing, we should avoid the infringement issues. So financial benefit is the most important part whenever an innovation is done, and how we can generate revenue is through this. But important is that new firms. Suppose if I'm a new firm and I have to enter some other country and with a patent. So there are many barriers to entry. But global patent, whenever we have a patent in our hand, it's very easy to enter. We have lot of competitors in global market. So while being a leader, if we have a patent in our hand, we can become a leader. Otherwise, normally in trade secret, somebody says that if I don't do a patent, then still I have to sell a product. Yes, you can go through a trade secret, but then you have to face lot of competitions. And in another country where there are lots of giants selling the same kind of product, it would be really difficult for a innovator, a startup to enter that particular country with a new product and can capture a market. Because somewhere in suppose US and Europe, it would be very difficult for an Indian innovator to go and capture the market. But if we have a global patent, if we have a patent in that country, then definitely we will have our own monopoly in that particular country, and nobody can say us to not to sell the product. In fact, if some other is selling, we can sue them for infringement. So only barrier to entry we can surpass is by a global patent. I'm giving some examples through which the barrier to entry have been crossed. Most common example, Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Now, what happened during COVID times? First of all, this vaccine has lots of patents. This is important. You can see that in the USPTO, in 2020, they have received this patent, Moderna COVID-19. This is a mRNA vaccine. Now, what about the Pfizer? Pfizer was also making the vaccine and they were selling it. So, what happened initially? Moderna sued them for infringement. So, this was a situation. Later on, the government has decided not to give more patents to some company. Why? Because it was becoming a monopoly. But this patent has been is acquired by Moderna first of the time when they have made this. So, what happened that once this vaccine was patented, it prevented competitors from producing the generic versions. Because once the patent is in market, nobody can produce the generic version unless until the patent gets expired. So that is called as the para 4 filing. Whenever, like in terms of pharmacy, we can say is like whenever the patent is going to expire, just before 1 month before the expiry, normally innovators start doing experimentation. So experimentation before expiry is allowed just for trial purpose. Otherwise, experimentation is also not allowed. If somebody has a patent, nobody can do experiment also. But in such cases, we can do that. And just on the expiry, normally generic versions have been launched by many of the companies in the past. So this is a way through which the generic versions can enter the market, and lot many generic versions can enter. But till the patent duration is life, means like till 20 years, nobody can enter the market as such. So in this way, Moderna has captured the market initially. What happened with Apple iPhone? Apple first of all made a iPhone, and you can see the advancements. Later on, Samsung has copied mostly all the features. It was looking like an iPhone in which many features were very similar. But what Apple did, they did lot of innovations, continual innovations, and even like identification system they have introduced, finger or fingerprint identification. That's why it became more technically advanced in market. So we can say that to sustain in market, it's important that continuous improvements and continuous patent filing over a certain product, if it is being done, that particular company can become a giant company. If suppose Nokia or other kind of phones have become obsolete, what was the reason that they didn't upgrade? So even Apple, they are continuing R&D on a daily basis to have new features every day in a new phone, and that's why they are getting upgraded, and they are still better than all the phones in the market. So but Apple is worldwide. They have all many PCT applications because they are capturing market all over the world, and that's why Apple has a patent in almost all countries with their new features. But it doesn't mean that other companies cannot come in market. They can come, but different features. And if Apple is more advanced, definitely people will prefer that. The point comes is the beauty of PCT that has allowed patent cooperation treaty. So that has allowed protection in several countries at once. So Tesla is, I can say, a giant in EV technologies, electric vehicles, and they have. This is a success story, I can say, for the WIPO PCT, through which Tesla has acquired so many patents all across the countries. You can see here the designated countries. These are the just the countries initials. You can see in so many countries Tesla has patents, and they have simultaneously acquired patents in mostly like in more than 40-50 countries. So they have designated 40-50 countries in their international applications. And now you can see the scenario. Tesla is becoming a leader all across the world. If suppose Tesla might have thought that I'm happy in my own country, what could have happened? Some other country might have copied the same kind of innovations. They might have launched the same kind of EV vehicles in market, and Tesla could have lost of times in infringement suits. But it's actually infringement suits are a very negative term. It should be avoided as much as possible. How to avoid is like to have protection widely in most of the countries where we want to sell our product. If we suppose we don't want to sell our product in some other country, we are not very much interested to know about that. But at least in designated countries of interest, we should definitely have our own patent. We can see here Dyson. Dyson patented vacuum technology. So such vacuum technology was, I can say that very unique. They have exclusivity in cleaning devices, and you can see you can search this products in WIPO websites. So in patent scope, you can see that there are many patents about the cleaning devices. They are robotics. They are you can say stick based. So there are a lot of different kind of innovations, and all are protected by different patent applications, and all are public on WIPO PCT website. So we can see here, these giants have become giant. Why? Because they reached global. If they could have, because they have started from very initial stages. Suppose if they are at just at their own country, this might not be the situation. So this is just because going global gave them lots of age. The point comes is, whenever we are talking about the infringement. So infringement is like whenever we are entering a market without having a patent, and now, whenever we are making something, and the procedures, the components sometimes become very kind of, somebody can guess about it, somebody can have an idea what could be inside. So there could be chances that due to reverse engineering, due to replications, the same or similar kind of products could enter the market. So in this competitive tech sectors, intellectual property is a subject to theft. And if it is being stolen by somebody, we can't just accuse them. We have to find out exactly where the infringement has been done, and then we have to sue them particularly for that particular kind of infringement. So global patents, whenever we have a global patent, then definitely we can sue them easily. We can reach to the court, high court of that particular country, and we can cite the example of that particular patent who is infringing our particular product on the basis of certain components, certain process, certain outputs, and that court will definitely entertain us. So whenever we wish to have a significant financial and market share, then combating infringement is must, and only important thing is the international patent. So, whenever we wish to foster innovation and collaboration, I'm not talking just about in negative terms like infringement and all. We can definitely collaborate with the foreign manufacturers. So, if we have a patent in our hand, we can connect to the other manufacturers, other kind of firms in other country, suppose US and Europe, and we can make it together. We can have a joint venture through which we can set up a firm with support of them. We can share our formulas, our composition to them, and we can work together. So it's a way of collaboration. Now the world is one, just a single one, and we can, if think like the WIPO or the PCT, such kind of international filing has made the world at a single place, a single platform. So if we have a patent worldwide, we can have collaboration with everybody who is like a firm owner of another company, and we can accelerate research and development with for a rapid and diverse innovation. And if we are very unique, definitely other companies will be interested in us. So one thing is that we can do the collaboration. Another thing is that we can go for licensing or assignments. Whenever we make a strategic decision, is like how to select an invention for global patents. Not every innovation can go globally, can do success globally, can generate sorts of revenue because there are different laws, different rules. Suppose our product is not demanded in some other country because of their atmospheric issues, because of their own lifestyle issues. So we should have enough commercial practice. We should have a very like prediction about that. If we market in that particular country, will we generate revenue? Is it really useful for the people of that particular country or not? So is it really relevant to enter that particular designated country? Because everybody think that if I enter US, so I will generate revenues. Definitely pharma markets, they will have good revenue all across the world. But suppose if you are making a particular kind of product which may not be preferred by the US people, why to enter that country? So global partnership will not be possible for such kind of product. So we have to think over the target market. First of all, we have to see the market very critically, analyze it, identify it, and we have to access factor. What is the market size of my product? Will my product will be fit for that particular area? What are the local competitors? Somewhere it may happen that people prefer the local products. They will not prefer the outsiders. There are some legal environment which is very stringent, and that's why it doesn't allow us to enter the market. So somewhere the legal issues are so much that there are lots of money spent on overcoming those borders. So in that case, we will be in losses. So that's why it's important that growth potential should be first evaluated, and we have to prioritize country. So market survey, market research, this becomes an important part for any of the innovator. Somewhere as a innovator, we don't think much about it, but this is a pre-work that should be done before international filing. Whenever we talk about the strategies, so strategies become of two types. First thing is that we can file our patent anywhere in the earth, but most of the foreign countries, they adhere to the absolute novelty standards. Means first to file policy is implemented in most of the countries. So whenever we have a very good idea in our mind, first we have to file a provisional application at least in our own country. We can test our product, we can do research on our product, and within 12 months, we have to file an international application. So there are two routes through which the international filing can take place. One is the direct filing. Direct filing, conventional filing, uh, or convention application is a term used for Paris Convention. So Paris Convention, what does it say? Is like once we file a provisional application or any complete specification in our own country, within 12 months, we can enter any particular country of interest. And those countries should be the member country of the Paris Conventions. So, if we have to enter in less than five countries where we have evaluated individually each country's market potential, each country's legal norms, and we are very sure that those five countries can give me back all the revenue done based on my research and development cost. So, in that cases, I will prefer to go for Paris Convention. And I'm very sure that my dedicated countries are this. So in such cases, this Paris Convention route would be good. Means we are directly entering in five countries, claiming the priority of my own country's filing date. So suppose if I filed in India, so within 12 months I can enter in any of the five countries and can claim the priority date as my first filing date. So this is also a very good way, and every country will follow the norm of examination of patents, grant of patent as per their own national rules and regulations. So every patent application has to cross through their individual country's rules, regulation, examination process, and grant process, and then only they will have the grant in their hand. It may happen that few countries may reject. Patent cooperation treaty, I can say that there is a system through which before entering any of the country, we are evaluating our patent application. Suppose if we are going to somebody and asking, is it really worth to enter in that particular country? Is it really be useful in terms of revenue generation or in terms of capturing market, or will be my product would be patentable in that particular country as per their patent act and rules? So in such cases, I can say that PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty, is a consultation uh, step, consulting agency, I can say, which doesn't grant any patent, but it's a mechanism to streamline the patenting process in international countries. So we don't need to file separate application in each country. We just file one international application, go through the process of patent written opinions, search, examination, and be very sure whether to enter the national phase or not. So there are 155 member states under the Patent Cooperation Treaty, and all will have like a single platform. In a single set of fee, we can enter the PCT route, single language, single application, no separate fees, and my application will be treated in the similar way as other applications of international applications are being treated. So we can see here, what is PCT filing exactly? It is a Dropbox. I have dropped my innovation in that, and I'm waiting for all the processes for evaluating my patent. But finally, ultimately, at the end of 30 months, I have to enter the national phase, means particular countries. While I file the international application, I need to designate all the countries in which I wish to enter during my national phase. So PCT, just I can say that it's a kind of way of evaluating the patent applications. And what would be the recommendation in that? Once we are sure that yes, I can do some commercialization negotiation in US, I have somebody in UK who can collaborate with me. If I have somebody in UK who might be interested in my innovation and I can license them till I generate a lot of revenues to have my own firm in UK. Till that time, I think till that time I can license to that particular firm and can generate revenue. Later on, definitely I will have my own multinational firm. So in such cases, PCT route is the best. So PCT perform international search, international preliminary examination, and during all those phases, we can modify, we can amend our applications, and we can be very sure. If suppose during PCT route, it come into the point that our patent doesn't have so much of patentability criteria, not meeting exactly novelty standards, we can do some amendments also. So, what is the exact step? First of all, we file an international application with a national or regional patent office or WIPO. So, international application can be filed on the site of Indian Patent Office also, or any regional patent office, or directly on the site of WIPO. So, but before that, we should have our own patent application filed in my own country. So, first I have to file in my own country. The decision point comes where, first of all, the innovator should file for provisional or complete. So, first we file it. Within 12 months, we file the international application. It could be in the Indian Patent Office either or WIPO. Then, the point comes is the search. There is an international searching authority. Indian Patent Office is also ISA. Otherwise, we can search any of the ISA, which can search our patent total patent applications and can generate a search report as well as a written opinion. So, written opinion means they can give a proper idea where the issues can arise: novelty, obviousness, industrial applicability, where our patent has the loopholes, where the amendment could be done. Suggestions are also there, as well as they can cite on like our patent matches which kind of innovations, like any earlier literature or any earlier patent. So they can give us a proper search report as well as a written opinion. So we are very become very sure, like my product is patentable, what are the issues in industrial applications, obviousness, or my patent has lots of novelty. So there are a full assessment, and there are good officials who are checking it, which are reputed. Patent office taking it very critically. The written opinion is very elaborate. So it's a very trustworthy thing that we are going through, and we can become very sure before entering the national phase. International publication occur after 18 months. What happens is, like, before international publication, if we find that there are some issues in our patent application, we can do the amendments and can withdraw our patent application either, or can do amendments in our claims. And we can suppose if we are withdrawing or doing amendment, our patent application will not be published after 18 months. So this is a way through which we can actually have some time for amendment. So this is a step. Suppose our patent application is published, and it is published, and on the WIPO patent scope website, everybody is looking over it. So I may not make changes after that, and even people can see it, can make the replicas. If suppose during international search authority report, if I find that some kind of patentability issues are there, but I can solve it, so I have done some amendment, added some more technical features. Somewhere we do innovations, but we forget to actually write it. So we can write it again, we can do the amendments, and then we can enter the publication stage. So this is a way where there is a decision point that is allowable in the PCT process. Another point come is, like, suppose ISA is done, but we can also do one supplementary international search that is optional. So in different technical fields, different languages, all kind of patent application worldwide are searched, and diversity of prior art is considered, and this is also very stringent search. This is also an option. Suppose if I'm not very satisfied with the search report and opinions, and I want it again to be examined. So examination also could be done at international preliminary examination. That is one step, and but it is done only after search. So there is a proper examination done by the WIPO, and there is a proper opinion given to the innovator whether it will be patentable or not. So if suppose an innovator gets an negative opinion, the cost of entering the national phase is saved, because then he will not enter the national phase application. Once he gets a very clear note, clear positive indication, yes, the product is novel, then only they can enter the national phase at the end of 30 or 31 months. But you may enter early. There are ways through which before 30 months we can enter the national phase through expedited process. So expedited process is patent prosecution highway. That is a newly introduced system through which we can enter the national phases even before the end of 30 months or even before that. So this is the way the timeline starts here, just as a ready reckoner. We can file one local application, suppose in India. We file the PCT application at any of the office, which is a receiving office. India is a receiving office of international application. We can choose India, or we can directly file on the site of WIPO. At the end of 16 months, we have every patent application is examined through international searching authority, every patent application. So this is a normal process. So whenever we file an international application, normal fees is 1330 Swiss franc, 1330. So we can convert it in Indian rupees. And one thing to know is, like, India is in the category of developing countries. So WIPO has given 90% reduction in the fees. So you can see, even if it is 26,000 uh, INR for filing international applications, so 90% reduction would be there in that 26,000 for normal individuals, startups, especially. So here in international application, we can get a reduced fee for filing. Then every patent application international is examined. It's through search report. So ISA is generated for every patent application and a written opinion. So international search report give an idea uh, which or where the patent literatures or any scientific publications are matching with our innovation. So which claim is matching, where there is a kind of obstacles in establishing the novelty, where could be a novelty being destroyed. It is in a very elaborate way they are citing it. They give a written opinion. Is it patentable or not? Is it useful or not? Is it industrially applicable or not? So you can say that it's a very elaborate and done by the very competent staff of every patent office. So it's a very useful document. Suppose at this stage we are giving some kind of negative comments, we can do the amendments at here at this stage at the end of 16 months. And we can even withdraw our patent application at this stage if it is negative, because once it is published, it will be in public domain. And even we are not able to do any addition, improvement, or technical advancements. So it will be better to read it carefully at the end of 16 months once we receive the international search report, do the amendments, and even if it is very negative, we can withdraw our application here. At 18 months, every patent application gets published, international patent application. It will be in public domain. It will be on the website of WIPO Patent Scope, accessible by everybody. Everybody read it. So you can be sure that now it's in public domain. So people can even make the replicas but cannot make the same. They cannot make it because they cannot make it for marketing. Even if it is being shown, if it is in public domain, it cannot be sold, it cannot be manufactured, it cannot be brought into the market. So this is a way through which it is done. Whenever at 22 months we feel that we can have one international preliminary examination, but that is optional. That has to be done only when we think that we have some kind of hitch in our written opinion and search report, and we want to be very sure, because this phase is a phase at which the fees are very less, because we are in India, as being Indians, we are in the category of 90% reduction. So everywhere the fees would be less. So we can go through this process. Otherwise, if we have a very positive written opinion and search report, we may not opt it. If we opt for this examination, at the end of 28 months, we get the report. So after 6 months, we get an international preliminary report on patentability, and we have still 2 months to decide whether to enter the national phase or not, and to which country. So there is important that once it is published, from 18 months till 30 months, 12 months time is to do the market survey of that particular country where we wish to enter, that we have designated during international patent filing. So those designated countries, suppose we have designated 15 countries, so we can enter any of the 15 countries. So we have to evaluate the market, legal compliance, competitors, anybody who is ready to take the license of the product, who is ready to collaborate with us to make the same kind of product in that particular country, because we do not have resources. So this is the time of 12 months from international publication till 30. So this 12 months time, normally it may happen that some foreign company may contact you. If they find that product is very unique, very novel, very innovative, they may connect you. So this 12 months time must be spent on the market analysis, collaboration, networking, connections, and to think not only to enter the national phase, but to establish ourselves in particular country with the marketing, commercialization, because unless until you commercialize in that particular country, again the point of working a patent comes. We cannot sit with a patent in our hand. We have to manufacture, we have to commercialize, we have to sell at an affordable price. So to achieve those criterias, we must have early homework done. Means like we should have collaborators, we should have the resources in that, and this 12 months time should be spent in that. In India, it is 31 months. So at the end of 31 months, we can enter any of the designated countries. And country designation should be done at this stage, filing international application. But it is not such that if I'm designating 10 countries, I should enter in 10. I may enter lesser than them, but at least those countries, we cannot enter in any country which is not designated. That's why we can enter but first we have to, here also we have to designate those countries only in which we are interested. So this is the step: file a local, then file international, then receive the opinion on patentability. Then optional is file international preliminary examination, and then we can have, once we receive a patentability analysis, we can enter the particular national phase. But in the national phase, the fees again will be as per the national rules and act. So here the cost would be more till the grant. This cost would be less. As you know, 90% reduction is there everywhere. And international filing fees is 1330 Swiss franc. The international search, this fee, international search report generation fee, this is will be about 200 to 1500 Swiss franc, depending on country to country. Because in India there is a different fee, in other country there are different fee, but still the total cost of PCT would be nearly 25,000 for Indians. Once they enter the national phase, then their fees will be applicable. So here we have to choose the countries in a very apt way, so that we should have the enough market in that particular country. So here there are something about the typical use and timelines. So PCT is that once we first file in our own country, up to 12 months we can enter any of the PCT member states, and we can claim the priority date as the country in which we have first filed. Suppose we have filed in India, then within 12 months I'm entering US directly, claiming the priority of Indian filing. So this is Paris Convention, simple route. But here we have to be very sure in which country we are entering, it should be granted there. And we have to do the market survey earlier. In PCT, already we have discussed the process, but here the first filing, priority date or PCT filing date, we shouldn't be confused about our local filing date. No. Local filing could be provisional or complete, but once we file the international application, that international application date will be our priority date. So up to 30 months, we can enter the national phase. National phase, their own rules and regulation, but before entering national phase, you have so many things in your hand. International search report is there, international preliminary examination report is there, and you are very sure that yes, in that particular designated country, because WIPO not only give you the search report, they also communicate to your designated countries also. So your designated countries are already very aware that you are coming in your country, and this is the written opinion, patent search report of your innovation, and they are well aware of yourself. So this will be easy to get your patent granted in the national phase. So in this way, we can have the least timeline. PCT international phase is normally, we can say that one important part is the claim amendment. Claim amendment must be done after the search report receiving. So before publication, because many people, many innovator normally, because there's a short timeline, 16 months to 18 months, in 2 months, at least we should go through the search report very critically, do the amendments if it is negative, and doesn't allow it to get published. If it is getting published, nothing is in your hand actually. Now I'm going to a very important point, that is patent prosecution highway in short. So this is an accelerated national phase examination. Suppose my another innovator say that, okay, I've crossed the PCT route in 30 months. Now coming the national phase. Now some country is doing it fastly. Some country is taking three years or more than 3 years. So what to do? So this is a way, patent prosecution highway, through which expedite examination could be done for two countries simultaneously, but this is bilateral. This is not multilateral. So how it works? See, suppose if I'm entering the national phase, now we are not talking about PCT. This is once we enter the national phase. So suppose I have designated two countries and I'm entering in two countries after my PCT process. So in the national phase, my application A has been filed in Office of Earlier Examination, first country. This corresponding application A, the same application, has been filed in Office of Later Examination. Now, first country have, because all are the member states, all are PCT member states at national phase. First country has given an indication of allowability. Yes, it could be allowed. It has a positive indication on patentability. The later company here can receive this indication of allowability because I have filed a PPH request here. So once the patent prosecution highway request is filed here, this indication of allowability is transferred to another country, sorry. So this is the earlier examination. Suppose in US the examination has been done. My patent examination report is generated and examination report is positive. They have given an indication, yes, this is patentable, useful, industrially applicable. So this examination report could be given to another member country. So this is bilateral. Another member country will use the same first examination report and do accelerated examination based on this report and again submit this to the first country. So this is a PPH. First of all, OLE. OLE is Office of Later Examination. They use search and examination information from OEE. They use the same information. Because suppose this is US, this is Europe, some particular country of Europe. So US has done the examination earlier. They have given a patentability report. They have given the information to later examination country. So they have given the information to European country. Now European country do it expeditely because the time is saved. They don't need to examination on a very elaborate way because already US has done it. So they do it in a very expedited way. Normally they consider most of the points of their examination report, and in this way this examination is also completed in Europe. So this is a bilateral agreement. So in patent prosecution highway, two countries together can like work in coordination. So PPH request, if it is being filed, then this process can take place. So, but it's important is that OLE, Office of Letter Examination, agrees to accelerate processing, but not to accept OE findings. So they may accelerate the processing, but may not accept each and every finding. They definitely can go accelerated because why accelerated is being done whenever everything is clear. When there are issues, patent office takes lots of time, go through the like pre-grant oppositions, all the, because after publication it may be very sure that patent office might be receiving n number of pre-grant oppositions, so they go through all kind of opposition objections, and they take lot of time. So every innovator asks me why patent office takes lots of time, because they are reviewing it, and if it is not expedited, they see each and every point and incorporate it in their examination report. But here in the case, one country has already completed, so another country takes the points and do it in an expedited way, because they are sure that yes, the indication of allowability has already been done. So this is a very important way through which we can definitely leverage this PPH pathway. So any question, please, I'll be happy to answer this. So, what are the benefits of patent cooperation treaty system for women innovators, particularly from India? Actually, in Indian Patent Act, definitely women innovators will get the advantage of expedited examination and a reduced fee of 80%. But as such, on paper, PCT system for women innovators, there is no such kind of special advantage. But as an individual innovator, you are capable of getting the 90% reduction, as like all the people of India are getting. So as India is a developing country, so you will get the 90% reduction, but not as a separate law in WIPO for women innovators. In India, you can have the expedited examination facility at a 80% reduced fee. All others are not eligible. Only startups and all the group of individual in which at least one woman innovator is there, then you can avail the facility of expedited examination and at a reduced fee of 8,000 only. So this is the way, but not at PCT. Thanks for the question.